Hello YouTube. It is CJ the Immortal here. Back with another YouTube video here on my channel. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to build a Pokemon competitive team. This is at least how I do it. I know there's a lot of different ways. People do it all differently. It honestly just depends, but this is what I'm going to show you guys what I like to usually do. So, how to build a Pokemon competitive team. So, step one, what you want to do is you want to open up Pokemon Showdown and go to the Team Builder. We got that done right now in the Team Builder. Then what you want to do is you want to open Smogon usage stats, which are right here, and then they have OUU, RU, and NU. And as you can see right here, you can see like what percent the Pokemon are used. You want to open up Smogon strategy decks, so you can look at common sets and everything for every Pokemon. And you want to open up the Pokemon calculator. Basically, this is useful for if you want to try to morph your set to specifically take a hit, kill a certain mon, anything like that. And the only other thing that you might want to open up is the Maryland Team Builder. This is especially good if you lack a little bit of Pokemon knowledge, because basically what this does for you is it allows you to well, I'll show you guys. It allows you to input the Pokemon and then see like what types you're weak to and stuff like that. But if you have a lot of Pokemon knowledge, this should be pretty simple. So I'm personally not going to use it, but if you guys need it, then go ahead. So once you got everything opened, then what you want to do is you want to decide what kind of team you want to build. So like an offensive team, a stall team, a hazard stacking team, a balanced team. But for this video, we're going to be using a balanced team because it's the most basic and beginner team. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Team Builder. So we decide we want to go balanced, right? Okay, so then what you want to do is you just use 2 or 3 Pokemon that have good synergy and work well with your team type. So for this thing, I think I'm going to start off with 2 Mons as my core. Because usually balanced teams will have 2 Mons as the core and then 4 kind of offensive Pokemon, or like 3 offensive Pokemon and like a hazard stack or something like that. So we're going to be in the OU tier for this because it's just what we're going to go with. So a good core. So you want to look for a nice defensive Pokemon that have good synergy together. So you could go with something like Sylveon and then pair that with like a steel type, so that could be good. So let's try that. We'll go Sylveon and Scizor, or we could go Sylveon and something like Klefki. Sylveon and Klefki are pretty good as well. But I think for this video, we're gonna go with Sylveon and Scizor, Mega Scizor actually. And so we have Sylveon and Mega Scizor, right? So then these 2 Mons, let's see, any common weaknesses. So, Sylveon is weak to, this is what I like to do. Sylveon's weak to Steel and Poison. That's it, but it's immune to Dragon. So then Scizor resists Dragon, so that's great. We have no problem with Dragons so far. It's weak to Fire, and I think it's neutral to Fighting, but Sylveon resists that. So basically Fire. Fire is our one problem right now. So this is where you want to kind of patch up that hole. So Fire is our number 1 problem. We could go with a ground type or something like a I think I'm gonna go with a ground type. A ground type or a fire type, something like that. So we'll go with Garchomp actually. So now you see we have 3 Mons that have a very good synergy together, weak to Ice and Dragon. You both take care of that. He takes care of those weaknesses, and then Fire is taken care of by Garchomp. So you see there, we got a solid core. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure you have 1 or 2 Pokemon that specifically counter common threats in the tier. So let's go. This is where the usage comes in handy. So let's go to the usage, right? Number 1 most used Pokemon is Landorus Therian form, right? So we want something especially that can deal with that Landorus, which we don't really have right now, specifically. Heatran is also very common, but we got that with Garchomp pretty easily. Keldeo. Sylveon takes care of Keldeo fairly well. Talonflame we kind of struggle with. Garchomp takes care of it okay, especially if we go Rocky Helmet, which we're probably going to go with specifically for that. Scizor, we don't have anything for Scizor right now, so we got to look into that. Ferrothorn, we don't have anything for that either. Garchomp, nothing for that. Rotom Wash, kind of something for that, not really though. So let's say that we want something. We're going to put a Rocky Helmet on this specifically for that Talonflame that's a threat. Rocky Helmet. Also, since this is the balance team, rocks are very important, so we're definitely going to go with stealth rocks on this thing. And we might just go with the basic. If we want to counter Scizor, we can just go with Fire Blast on this guy. We can go with Fire Blast on this guy, Dragon Tail, and we could go with something like. There's many options for this spot here. We could just go Toxic. We could go with something like Earthquake, something like that. But I think for this, we're just gonna go with a Toxic. I think Toxic could work pretty good. Not fast bulky support. We're gonna go bulky. I would just go straight up bulky on this set. Increase that. Now you can probably look up these this set. You can probably just look up this exact set. I think on Smogon Smogon University. See, let's see here. So if we go search, we go Garchomp right here. We can see what sets they have that I could use instead. Tank Chomp, see right here, is very similar to what I have. Very, very similar. And then we can go down here. See, they have Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Swords Dance, like offensive Stealth Rock. They got a bunch of different options for what you can use there. And then, so remember, we need something to counter Landorus, Therian. So now we have something for Ferrothorn and for Scizor, because that Fire Blast, because Scizor takes on both of them very well, and that Fire Blast is going to destroy them. So now we need something to kill that Landorus, Therian. Also, we have nothing for Heatran right now, so maybe it would be more beneficial to get rid of Toxic and put on Earthquake. I think so. Just specifically for Heatran. So you can see like the process right now. So we need something to get Landorus. So an Ice type or something that learns Ice type move would be great. We could definitely go with Kyurem Black. Kyurem Black could definitely be an option, because that would also help us kill the Lotties and stuff. So if we go to Kyurem Black, we go Choice Scarfed, because that'll help us outspeed all that stuff. We might outspeed, Landorus Therian. Let's see what his speed is. 91, so we do outspeed Scarfed Landorus Therian. So that's good. That's very, very good. So we could go with something like, so we need to be able to kill, so let's say we go with something like Ice Beam, because Ice Beam's going to wreck them. We could go with something like Draco, maybe, but we're Scarf, so that wouldn't really make much sense. We could go with Rock Slide, because that'll help us kill Talonflames. That could be an option, because we will outspeed Talonflame if it goes for Flare Blitz, and it's not going to do too much to us with a Brave Bird, but I think we could have a better counter for that. We could go with something like Outrage. Then we could go with, who knows, any other move, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so this thing is basically our counter for the Laddies and Landorus Therian, because that Choice Scarfed Ice Beam is going to wreck them. So, yeah. And then, so now, let's see, we have a Dragon weakness, but we do have two Dragon types. That is a problem. Now, do we fix that? That's the question. I'm not so sure. But you guys can see how you go through the process of trying to counter things. We could go with a Weavile as well. That could be another option. Fighting type, he's weak to, I think I'll go with a Weavile instead. Then we could just go with something like Ice Punch, Ice Shard. Then we have a knockoff user, which is awesome, and then something like Low Kick, like that. And then we can make this thing Life Orb. So basically, Landorus Therian, I'm pretty sure dies to an Ice Shard. If not, Ice Punch. We might be able to outspeed. I'm not sure, maybe not, but Ice Shard's gonna do a lot if we weaken it a little bit. And then so now we have a fighting type, but we got that covered. So let's go back over to the usage, and let's see. Do we have Keldeo covered? Yeah, I'd say Sylveon covers it pretty well. Talonflame, we don't really have a Talonflame counter, and the perfect Talonflame counter in this tier right now really is Rotom Wash, wherever the heck Rotom is. Rotom Wash, this thing just completely wrecks it. We can just go with something like Will-O-Wisp, Volt Switch, Hydro Pump, and anything. We could go with trick. We could go choice scarf trick too. But I think it'd probably just be better for me to go with, we could just go Thunderbolt, to be honest. I think we'll just go Thunderbolt, and then just make this thing, whatever you want. We can make it physically defensive, we can make it more offensive. So, yeah, this thing's going to counter Talon Flame because both of its stabs are protected from. And then, what else do we have to cover here? We have Latios, Bisharp, we do have Weavile for that. Exca, Clefable, Metagross. I think what we really need is a fire type. Well, no, we kind of got that covered. But really what we're lacking is a strong special attacker at this point. Well, I mean, we have 2. We have 3 physical. I mean, really, this last mon is like where it gets really difficult. Gliscor, we got covered pretty much. Superior, we don't really have covered that great. Gengar, we don't really have covered that great. We could go with something like our own Landorus Therian in this spot, to be honest. We could definitely go with that, which I think I might actually go with. Our own Landorus Therian. The only thing is we're missing a spinner, so maybe we'll go with an Exca. Exca sounds interesting. So if we go Exca, we can then get rid of Earthquake on this guy and put on Toxic. And now we do have a ground type. That's not how you spell toxic. Toxic, like that. And then now we have an Excadrill with like Earthquake. Yeah. And we can also make this thing our Scarfer. Earthquake. We can make this thing Choice Scarfed. Bangity bang bang. Mold Breaker. And then there we go. Now we've got some for Heatran. We can put on Iron Head here. We can make this thing kind of like a supportive, maybe. Oh, well, you know what? We're going to do that instead. We'll make this thing like Roost Defog with BP and Bug Bite, let's say. Or U-Turn. We'll go U-Turn. Make this thing like defensive. And then make this Sylveon like Choice Specs. Something like that. See, like, and then this is where you kind of like morph your team to whatever you want. And then, so basically this is kind of the general gist. Step 5, check for any glaring weaknesses to a certain type Pokemon playstyle. So for example, like, we didn't have a spinner. I mean, we didn't have a huge weakness to rocks anyway, but something like that is what you want to check for in this step. And the last step is, go out there with your team. Make your team, polish it as much as you can, but it's never going to be perfect until you go out there and test it, see how it works in the tier against other people, and then make changes based around that, guys. So that's going to be it for this video. If you've enjoyed, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you found this helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.